Hey guys, welcome to the Centre Bounce. Today I'll be walking you through how my team did in round 5. Gather round and boy, let's gather around the boys. Let's get this started. Look guys, yes, as you can tell by my attire, the lid is off. We are killing it. And if you remembered what I said in the live stream, people were laughing. People were laughing, but I did say this. I said that we were going to get on top. We're going to wrap them up. I said that SETTERGOAT is going to wrap Clary up and we're going to get the dub. I said it. Go back, watch it. Might have been a long stream, but I called it. I called it on the Thursday night, and my word, look, was it not a lot of analysis went into it, but I gotta say, I backed in my gut on that, and I knew that we're going to be in for a good game instead of GOAT. People were looking to trade him out, and I'm like, no, I wouldn't do it. I know he's still got another good score in him, and it continues. And my word, we are top 4, knocking off the Melbourne Demons. I was at a wedding that day. Saturday was a full-blown day for my cousin Daniel. Congratulations on getting married, mate. I'm very, very happy for you and Jess. And it was such a great day. And I couldn't help myself for stepping outside. I had to go, had to keep track of the scores, watch the game even on the side. And it was so totally worth it. Couldn't believe it. The second I clicked on it, bang, we saw the Draper's third goal, the snap on the run, and boy, he's off running to the races. A bit like my team, not the best. We're not number one as we are Essendon, and my team is certainly not number one. And it was overall not a bad week. Can't complain about the week. 2,300 was the score in the end. Obviously, not the best because it's a top 10% score, but it's also not the worst because, again, it's a top 10% score. So not among the top echelon, but also better than a lot of other people. We ended up going up in the ranks by about almost 14,000, and we're now, when we're inside the top 50K, we're almost top 40. The team is slowly getting there. Emphasis on the slowly. Obviously, I haven't won most of my leagues because it was a big week for a lot of players, especially having a really good captaincy score. Something does not look right. Because I've redone my trades. That explains a lot. I'm like, what's going on? All right, so this was it was the team, how the team performed last week. Dacos, absolute superstar. What a legend. 128. He is such an incredible player. It is ridiculous how well he scores. Yeah, absolute keeper. Can't believe we didn't start him. That's something that that I've really learned going into next year is you can't put too much stock into the preseason pracky game. You just can't throw out everything just simply based on that one game. I know I was hot on him all preseason. It was an absolute lock. And then that one game where he copped the Finn McGuinness tag turned me away. So I think I'm going to take into next year that you got to really back in your research and not look too deeply into what happens in the preseason pracky game. Tom Stewart was the guy that I ended up trading in. I know I said in the video that I was going to do Dawson most likely as opposed to Stewart. But I just wanted to have a bit more money in the bank going into next week. All this talk about next year. Going into next week in order to sort of work on my upgrades. And I thought Stewart was going to well and truly match Dawson, if not beat him, because all of this talk of, you saw what Dawson did to Fremantle the week before. Surely they wouldn't. Carlton would be going in. They've never won an Adelaide Oval. They want to cement themselves as a true, contender. They're going over there for Gather Round, first game of Gather Round. Big moment in history, in time for their team. They got Walsh back. They got Kennedy back. You know what I mean? Just before the game, though, disaster strikes and McGovern's out. You're thinking, Sard stocks are on the rise. But you surely would have thought that they're going to put some attention into Dawson. Like, seriously? You wouldn't put Hewitt on Dawson? Because we saw that the week before, Freo tagged Laird, but they did nothing. They got absolutely destroyed. The person killing them was Dawson. So I was expecting, with all this talk and this confidence coming out of Carlton, that surely they wouldn't be beaten by what they know. Surely they wouldn't be beaten by what they know is coming. And they were. It was such a poor performance, not only on the field, but off the field in terms of the coaching box, because how they could let Dawson run on his merry way like that without the attention that he deserves, that he needs. And he absolutely went bananas, and everybody had him VC, had him vice captain. So congratulations to you guys. I expected a guy like Stewart to absolutely towel up on the Eagles at Adelaide Oval, smaller ground. We know that Stewart loves to play on the smaller ground like he does at Cardinia Park, where he's going to be playing in Geelong at home this week. So I'm really happy I've got Stewart in. Ridley was someone that he's averaging me 90s. He's not a real problem to have on the field. And due to him and his very fair price tag at the start, he was going to be hanging around the 500k mark anyway. So it's not like he's bleeding in cash a lot. And he's still giving me respectable scoring. Obviously, if Ridley was a Dawson, it would be an entirely different situation. Jim B, 51, was subbed out. Look, you can see, unfortunately, we're hoping that he would be able to last out the season a bit better, but it just hasn't happened. He's playing a contested style of game, but he's still quite young. He has the body, but playing senior football and crashing and bashing is no easy thing. And unfortunately, had a poke in the eye, so he was subbed out. There's no real problem with him per se, but unfortunately for us, his scoring now is he's now had a couple of weeks where it hasn't worked out, and his break even now is 81. Is he capable of doing that? Absolutely, he is. But I don't want to, the question then becomes, do you want to take the risk with this young player who clearly appears to be now laboring through this early part of the season? We're hoping that he'll be able to last a bit more, but West Coast are just that bad. Connor McKenna, 55. Look, McKenna's going to give you a range of scores, and what I've learned, having been an Essendon supporter my whole life, and having watched Connor very close up at Essendon, is never have any expectations for this guy, because he will always either pass or pass him, or can just confuse the living daylights out of you. So Connor McKenna, look, nothing wrong with him, still averaging 74. Wilmot, 68. He's been improving, and he's becoming a lot more surer of a pick in the defensive line on field as an option now for me. So that's very, very good. Cowan, 42. He didn't score his normal 51, but it is what it is. He's still making us a bit of money, not much. It's starting to really slow, breaking of 22. If he hits 47, he'll make up 11k. So you never know. Cowan could become a Corey Wagner next week on the level. Constable, still fingers crossed. Play Stewie Dew, bring back Constable. We need him to make us some money. Clary was the guy that was brought in. I could not go any further watching this guy play, even though I said that SETTERGOAT would towel him up and curtail his output. Still couldn't put it past Clary. Clayton Oliver, playing at Adelaide Oval, where he loves to play, second highest averaging ground, and with the forecast of all that rain, how could you turn that down? So I thought, Clayton Oliver, you got to come into my side, and it was looking absolutely disastrous at halftime. But the rain came, and like we have said on this channel, this guy could well and truly be the greatest wet weather football in the history of the game, the wet weather footballer in the history of the game. He was killing it. He was unbelievable, and salvaged the score 115. And he's got a very juicy matchup this week. If you haven't got him this week, this is your best chance to get him in, I think. Bontempelli, 145. I took the gamble. I took the risk. I didn't think Clayton Oliver's score. I just had a feeling that this guy is due. He is too good of a player to continue maintaining these low scores. He just needed to have the opportunity in the middle of the ground. And against Port Adelaide, I thought that he had a really good matchup. They tried their hardest to stop him, but this guy is an absolute freak. You can only imagine how many more plaudits this guy would have and how many more Brownlow votes he would have if he was played more in the middle. Bloody Bevo. Loves to sabotage his own players. Green with a 97. Again, it wasn't looking good early on, but he lifted into the game. Goulden, man, he's a bit of a free kick merchant, isn't he? He loves getting some free kicks. And again, the weather wasn't the best also in that game. So it was a bit harder to be clean. 88. Look, still averaging us 99 for the year. Can't complain. SETTERGOAT with a 91. Again, lifted. Like, with this guy, like, you might think him at halftime, oh no, it's not so good. He bounces up. He keeps performing. He keeps running out the game, and he does really good things around the ground. Love the SETTERGOAT as a pick. He's averaging 101. You look at this guy. He's averaging more than Errol Goulden. You know what I mean? Like, he's averaging more than Rosie. He's averaging more than Zeeble. This guy is an absolute unit. Love SETTERGOAT. And the great thing is he's got a 9-day break coming up, so he can well and truly rest up and be ready for Anzac Day, where I'm sure he's going to shine. He's going to be one of our best mids. And if the Zach Merritt suspension is upheld, unfortunately, then that just means more midfield time for SETTERGOAT. So love him as a pick. Hopper, 115. This guy needs to play at Adelaide Oval so much more. Like, I don't know if Richmond have to sell games in order to have them be played at Adelaide Oval, because this just happens to be Hopper's home, I think. He just plays his best over there. It's unbelievable. Well done, Hopper. Great performance. Ashcroft with his 72. You can't complain with this kid, averaging 77. Very fieldable option. Cam McKenzie being named the sub just threw everything for an absolute whirlwind. Like, oh no, what we're gonna do? Constable had already played, and he was just sitting there on my defensive bench. So I couldn't even loop anymore, and so I had to take the gamble. And I had to just go one with Baker. Unfortunately, Baker did not score as well as Hollins did, but thankfully I didn't have McKenzie on field because, 14 is no bueno. Unfortunately, that has absolutely tanked his scoring output. I would have loved to have traded him out as soon as the news came out, but I unfortunately used my boost and was unable to reverse trades to make anything meaningful happen. So unfortunately, we've lost some money on Cam McKenzie, but he's going to have to go. Hollins with another 65. He's a fairly consistent player. He's a gun. He's a jet, this kid. I can't see him getting dropped, and that was the reason why I got him in the side. Long with a 55. Look, for a 117k rookie, he's been doing very well for me. I cannot complain. Brodie Grundy, 128. Supercoach-wise, you can't complain. Against Draper and Phillips. Drillips. You can call him that. Drillips, maybe, or... that's possible. I don't know. If you guys think of a better name for that ruck combination, because this ruck combination is shaping up to be a very formidable duo, and they took Grundy to the cleaners. It might not show in terms of the scoring, but they kicked 5 goals on this guy, and it's no surprise that the difference in the game was 5 goals. We should have won by more. Inaccuracy, again, a regular feature in our games, but yeah, Grundy is not long with us, unfortunately, because after the game, Simon Goodwin was talking about, going really close, that we need him. We didn't bring Grundy to ruck by himself. We brought him to play with Gawn, and then we got absolutely showed up by a terrific ruck duo that we've got here with Draper and Phillips. So it could mean that Gawn is back next week, which is absolutely terrifying. It might mean that I have to get rid of Grundy this coming week. Marshall, 123. Again, you take the score, but this score is subpar, because this was against the Collingwood side that not only were missing all of their ruckmen, they even were missing McStake, who went down early with injury early in the game. So Marshall has been a really big head scratcher for us, unfortunately. And for me, though, I'm not going to trade him out, because I'm still waiting for the cavalry to come back for for the Carlton game. Ross Lyon already confirmed that Jack Steele, the handsome man, will be back for the Carlton game, which I can only assume would improve Marshall's hit out to advantage count, which should see him hopefully getting more scores. Dunkley, 133. Look, they had a great game against North Melbourne. sorry, Big J, your team still well and truly not very close to finishing that rebuild. Toronto 115. He's such a butcher. It's unbelievable what a butcher he is. Like, I feel like if he tries to pinpoint a pass to someone over there at Adelaide Oval, he might hit me here in Victoria on the chest. Like, he is such a bad kick. It's unbelievable. But 115, you got to take that. You take that every day of the week. Connor Rosie, 93, averaging 98. Again, you take that. The forwards just aren't really scoring that great. Zeeble and Sheasel, great. Who would have thought that these two North Melbourne boys would come in so clutch for us this year? They're doing so well. Wish I started both of them. I can't believe I had 5 over Sheasel. That, I suppose, encapsulates the season perfectly. Chandler with a 56. Look, I think he performed really well compared to what this score might have suggested. Because certainly, I think he's got his spot in the side compared to a guy like Van Ruin, who, again, performed quite admirably. But that is the case for all of these Melbourne players. They play to a certain standard in order to break into that team. And I think Chandler showed no reason why he should get dropped. And he probably could have scored a bit more if things fell his way. He missed another shot. He missed a shot on goal that just fell just short. So, look, Chandler in the wet, in a rough day for Melbourne. They were thoroughly outplayed by us. That was the best game I've watched us play for full 4-quarter effort from everyone. That was insane. So Chandler, look, it's still reassuring. I know there are people that are trying to trade him out this week. And look, that is obviously up to you if you want to do that. But his break even is still 47. It's got Carl and he's got Richmond this week. So I think we'll have a good bounce back game this week. Fergus Green, my word, this guy was literally on the chopping block. No, not literally. He was figuratively on the chopping block, and he has just pulled out 2 over 70 scores in a row to well and truly kickstart that cash and going again. So Fergus Green, well done to you, lad. We brought you in the side for a reason because we hoped that you would give us some good scoring, given that you were the main primary target with a locked-in job security. So well done to you, Fergus. You're making us some money, and money is unfortunately starting to be a commodity that we are not having a lot of, given the cash generation of some of these other rookies that we've got not doing the best. Samson Ryan was my trade in this week. I thought he was safer of a pick compared to a guy like Van Ruin, especially given Soldo still out. The promise that Ryan was going to get a bit more ruck time, and that he did. This 56 should have been so much more. I can't believe how much he dropped that ball. It was like he was the only one playing with a bar of soap and everyone else was playing with an actual football. He dropped everything. It was unbelievable. This score should have been a lot better, and it's very reassuring, I think, that if 56 is his floor with Soldo out, I'm looking forward to what's to come next week. So Samson Ryan, he's sitting there on the bench, not on the field, nothing crazy. And so, yeah, his break even now is 0, and I expect him to make a bit more coin for us before the cavalry returns for the Tigers. So this was how my team performed last week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I've got 152 in the K in the bank, 152K in the K, 152K in the bank. Jeez, my words. And I'm still not sure what I'm going to do. The good thing is, finally, Thursday night football is over, which means that we have an extra day to plan, to research, and to think about what it is that we're going to do. So I'm not going to say exactly right now what I'm going to do because I still haven't decided. You could scroll a bit earlier in this video to see what my initial trades were, to sort of maybe get a good idea of what it is that I'm thinking of doing. But I'm still tossing up because I think I do need and want to get another premium into my side. I don't want a sideways premiums at this point. I will have to sideways Grundy. Obviously, you have to look at team sheets when they come out on the Thursday. But then again, that's the thing. This week is such a long week of football, and they're playing the Anzac Day Eve game, which is so far down the track. It's ridiculous. So, but yeah, Grundy will probably have to be flipped. I can't see Gorn missing as the captain. I can't see him missing Anzac Day Eve, one of their biggest fixtures on the calendar. So Grundy might have to go. Might have to use some money in order to trade out Grundy to an English. Is it possible? Can I afford it? it sucks having to sideways premiums at this point of the year. Yeah, so okay, cool. So it can be done. It eats a bit into the cash, but what can we do? So that can happen. I'll have to have a look and see what I can do in other places as well. But you really want to start getting rid of these now. And they're not dead rookies. I was probably going to have, or I might have to trade out McKenzie and Jimby this week. Maybe even a Baker as well. About 53. His break even now is 46. So it's getting up there. It's really getting up there. So unfortunately, we might have to start moving on some of these rookies who we were hoping would last a bit longer. But it is what it is. This is the game we play. So thanks, guys, for watching. This was my team for this week in round 5, and which was a very victorious, very, very happy one for my boys, and Bombers. Maybe not so much for my Supercoach team, but it is what it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're slowly climbing our way up. Obviously, there's a long way back to come from, but still looking to enjoy the game as much as I can. It's not the end of the world. It's still a fun game that we do. It is a hobby, and it just feels so good when your actual footy team wins. It makes things so much better. So, guys, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. We'll be putting up some our regular content, but also maybe also a round review video, just some short, 2 minutes on each game. Doesn't have to be it won't be Supercoach related. It'll just be purely footy on it from a footy sense. Just a 2-minute take on each of the games. So please let us know in the comments below if you're looking forward to seeing that. And remember, guys, here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so that you don't.